So welcome to another one of our Living Connected Get Online Week events. This one's all about finding stuff on your PC.
Hi everyone, hope you guys are doing well during these tough times. My name is Vishu and I'm an employee at the Living Connected and I've been a part of Living Connected for almost a year now. And today here with me are Helen and Kim who are going to be joining us for a discussion about how to find stuff on your PC. So Kim, could you please give us a quick introduction brief about what Windows is and how you find stuff on your Windows?
Yeah, okay, so just quickly first, so a quick summary of what we're doing today, so you know, is we'll have a look at the Windows key and the Start menu. If you don't know what those things are, don't worry, we'll go into them. Helen will chat a bit about the history of how the structure in your files came about, which is really interesting, I think. And then we'll have a look at the main place where your files are organized and you're going to want to go to find things, which is File Explorer on Windows. Speaking of which, so today's session is on a PC, on Windows, how you find things there. But we'll also be doing one, Helen and Shiba, on finding stuff on the Mac, on a Macintosh, on Apple machines.
Yeah. Talking about the history, I would really like to listen to Helen about the history and how File Explorer came into it. Helen, could you please tell us a bit about it?
Yes, I probably go back further than my younger colleagues and remember when Windows first came about on PCs. And at that stage, the computers were really only used for work in the office and so on. And so they used an office metaphor to describe how things were organized on a PC. I'm not quite sure why they call it Windows, but I guess most offices have a window. But the machine itself has a thing called a desktop, which is a metaphor for the screen where everything's found. My desktop's usually pretty messy. And then you have a filing cabinet where you keep everything. And in your filing cabinet, you have drawers and folders. And inside folders are files. And so they use that same approach to describe how things were organized virtually on a PC, and it sort of stuck with Windows now for decades.
I like your little pun in between, Helen, where you said Windows might have come off because offices have Windows. But anyway, yeah. Next question I would ask to Kim, like Kim, why is it so important to organize your stuff and to find your files on your PC?
Mostly because it's just such a basic part of computers and a basic part of what you're going to be doing on your computer. You know, if you write the world's best novel and you can't find it, you know, it's. But also, I just think about it as if your house was messy. If your toothbrush is in your kitchen, you know, you're not going to go there to find it. If you don't know which rooms are in your house and it's a complete mess, pretty much the same with computers. It's going to make your life so much easier if you understand this stuff.
That's correct. And what is the easiest way to find anything on a PC? Could you just show it to
Yeah,
us,
sure.
Kim?
I might just share my screen now so you can see things as well. So give me a moment.
No worries.
So I'm going to show you this key here, right in the middle of the Control key and the Alt key, which is the Windows key. So if I tap that on my PC, just checking you can see my Start menu there, right?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Okay, great. So down the bottom here is type here to search. And the cursor went straight here when all I did was hit the Windows key. So I can, from there, type anything. So I couldn't get my Bluetooth working. I can actually just type the keyword Bluetooth, hit enter,
Yep.
and open my Bluetooth settings, you know. The idea. You know, if I had a photo or a document I'd written, you know, it's going to search that as well. It's like going into the library, giving a librarian a keyword, you know, searches anything. The other thing I was going to show you is just the filters up here. So if I click on one of these, it's just going to search the word neural for documents. Yeah.
Yep.
Or apps or stuff on the web. or if you wanted to look in settings. Okay, so that is basically the start menu. Quickest way, in my opinion anyway, to find things. If you want to get rid of it, by the way, just hit the Windows key again, and that'll go away.
Interesting. Also, another useful feature in Windows is the File Explorer. And how do you can you explain us the important features of File Explorer and how it could be helpful to people who use PCs?
Yes, definitely. Just trying to move. I've got the window of us on Zoom over here, so let me just get rid of that. So there's a lot of parts of this. What I find really handy is whenever anything is selected, it actually gives you the path of where it is. So these are all folders. So if you're kind of confused, that will help you. But the main thing is over here is the magnifying glass for search. So it depends on where I am to what it searches, right? So if I'm in Q&A and I search, I got to find something that's in here. Sorry, this is a little bit of so it gives me all the results for this, you know, and you can open the thing straight from it. You can do that anyway. Search your whole computer by just clicking in there and searching for your document. But just to let you know that it searches depending on what is selected. You know, if you wanted to do the whole PC, it's going to take a bit longer if you're not sure where it is, but it'll search absolutely everything. So that's the search menu. Just quickly there, do you have any questions from just that basic search function there?
I feel things you explained them pretty clear.
Okay, all right. Well, let's go on, and if something comes up, you can.
Yeah.
Can I just mention? So you're using this search. Is that your preferred way of finding things, or is there another way that you can?
It depends on what I'm looking for. So if I'm looking to set up a printer, I would definitely use the Smart menu. So the overall big stuff and not documents, I would find them by coming down to the Start menu. But if it's actually a document or a photo that I'm looking for, I would come into this place definitely. And I would, what's really handy while I'm here with photos, I found this with our clients when they've got a lot of photos, but they can't, what's what, right? So one other thing that's really handy in here is turning on what's called the Preview Pane. You might have trouble seeing this, so I'll just show you really quickly. At the top of the File Explorer, you're going to see something like this. And depending on what you click up here, you'll get different options down here. So clicking View, which I'm going to do now, you get something called the Preview Pane up here. So if I click that, it's like a window pane, another window comes up here. And if I got to make sure I've got, okay, so I can click on a photo here and without having to open it up, I'll get a preview of it, right? So I can just keep going through here and seeing what the pictures are. So find that's a preview pane. You can turn that on and off just by clicking.
Yeah.
So let's just have a quick look at other things on, actually first, how you can sort files. This can be really good if you've done something recently and you know that. So if you click on one of these
files alphabetically arranged? Can you do
that's, yeah, totally. But that depends on what we click up here. So if I've clicked date, I'm going to get them in date order if I know I did something recently. But if I click on name, that's going to give me an alphabetical search.
Yeah.
And the same thing if I'm just looking for a photo as opposed to a document, this type column sorts them by, you know, whether it's a web page or a picture or a document. You know, so those filtering columns, sorting columns, to use the right terminology.
Help you find things more easily.
Yeah, they can be really handy if I know I'm just searching for one thing.
So can you explain what you're going through now compared with that list on the left-hand side? So
yes, on the left-hand side, using your metaphor, if I'm at a desk and I just looked on my desktop for something, then what I see on the right-hand side, so the location is the left-hand side, where you are on your computer, which is saving everything for you, and the right-hand side shows you what's in that location. Is that the question you're asking?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
and you just click on with the left click on something to select it, and then if you select something from the left-hand column, it shows in the right-hand side what's inside that.
Perfectly. And while we're there, just a quick over here where it says quick access, that's just showing me the places I open most often. And if one of those places you always want to be there, because these change depending on what you use, you can pin it here where you see the little pin, and that will always, might need to right click that, and there's a pin somewhere here, unpin. So it's already pinned there. Let's click away. Yeah. So that can be really handy too. Is that on that?
And so everything you download, Kim, from anything on your PC always goes to the download section, right? And from there you can move it or copy paste it to whichever section you want on the left hand side.
Yes, correct.
Could you show us how it's done?
Yes, except how to copy and paste to move it.
Yeah, and also cut, like you know how things, once you cut it, you don't have it at one section, so that people understand it as well.
Oh, difference between move and paste, if you want to move it so it's not in the old location, or if you want it in both?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so that's actually, what we're talking about now is organizing, you know, things on your PC. So at the moment, all these files are in one place. You know, they're in one place on your desktop. And if you want to move them, you've got two options. You can just drag the file somewhere else. So drag this onto my desktop.
So at the moment, it's in a folder called Q&A, is it?
Yes, correct. But now you can see it here on my desktop. Now you can see it on my desktop. So all I did was drag it, left click and hold, and drag it over here where you want it to go. So that's one way of doing it. When you do it that way, it removes it from where it originally was. So it's not here anymore. But the other option, if you want it in both places for one reason, is to copy it. You can either right click and hit copy down here.
Yep.
Or for people who use a shortcut, you can hold down your control key and hit C. So that's up to you, whatever you want to do. Let's show a copy here. So I've copied that file. I'll do it this way as well so you can actually see that. Copy. And I actually want to put it on my desktop. Go to desktop and you paste it. Okay, so that's, thank you for that question, by the way, Vishu. So that's moving things around from place to where you want them to be.
Yep.
That's made me think about creating a new folder, which is really important. You know, if you want something in documents. So here's the Q&A folder, and let's say you wanted another manila folder in your filing cabinet. So again, you want to be in the correct place up the top here. So you want to be in File, and you usually see New Folder there, which I'm not seeing because I use a keyboard shortcut. It's probably in Home. Okay, it's in the Home one. Here you go, New Folder. So if I just want pictures in there, that's how I created that. I hit New Folder, and you can see here there's a new folder in here, and I can put things in there. So it can be really important if you've had a trip overseas and you want to organize it by where you went. You can create new folders and get some good organization happening.
That's amazing. That's really helpful as well, Kim.
Good. Hang on 1 second. Let's stop sharing screen for the moment so I can see you two better. I was wondering, depending on how we're going for time, if you wanted to have a quick look at how you search for things on your browser. I know we're talking about a PC. I'm not sure if we're going to discuss this in one of our other Q&As.
I think we might leave that. I think there's enough to do here. There's a couple of things that I would like to raise, because I do things a little bit differently to what you do. I don't particularly like to have that quick access thing open. I just like to think of the logical arrangement of all my files and so on. So if I go down to a bit further on that left-hand list, I'll probably come to a part where it just shows what's on my PC.
That's a really good point to make, Helen, and to let people know that instead of having to scroll all the way down here, if you don't like quick access, here's a little collapse menu. I can just close it. So I'm not seeing it. And I'm quickly just seeing this PC one. So that's, yeah, that's a really good point to make, is where you like to be here.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been accessing things at all very much, you probably won't have anything much in quick access, but you will still have what's under PC because that's standard for everybody. That comes with the package.
Correct. And also when you click that, it's really handy. It'll show you, you know, how much space you've got and where things are as well. So yeah, that's a really good point. Is there anything else you do differently, Helen? That's a good point. We all navigate our computers in subjective ways.
Yeah.
Well, if you just open up the PC bit again and just see what's under PC, I like to still use those things there as the top level of all my organisation. So anything that's a document will go in the documents, and I might create folders within that. Anything that's a picture, I would put in pictures, and again, you might have create folders underneath that, and videos and so on. What happens on my PC is that I download a lot of stuff, so the downloads folder gets really big, and then you really need to move that into other folders as you sort things out that you want to keep, and then but delete those you don't want. So I find that the downloads is where all the messy stuff is, all lumped in together, and then maybe needs to be sorted out.
Yes, just to let people know while you're talking about that, Windows is set up where it does that automatically. If you don't change it, it does put documents, it does put pictures in pictures, downloads in downloads. You can change that, but don't worry too much about that, just to let you know that if you are using this way that Helen is, things are automatically going to go into those places.
Yep.
We are going to run a this is video on YouTube, and we'll answer all questions afterwards. So if there's something in there that we've done that you didn't understand, you'll get an opportunity to ask us, or you've got anything else that you have a question about in this area.
Just put it down in the comment section when we'll be there, and we will answer your questions. I was wondering if we could talk about more how to use your shortcut keys, because you talked about how to copy paste as well.
I did, and I actually wanted to go back on there and show you something anyway, so that I forgot. I find this key incredibly useful, and because if I hold this key down and press P on my computer, I print. If I hold this key down and press S, I save. A lot of the time, it's the first letter of what you want to do, most of the time, apart from what we show now. So if I want to copy this pictures folder, first of all, I make sure it's selected. I hold down the control key and tap C for copy. It's automatically copied. I go into the desktop. The shortcut key for this is one of the ones that's different. I right-clicked to get this menu. You can see P is underlined. That's the shortcut key. If I hold down control and press P, I love the way it doesn't happen for that example. Give me a second. Control C to copy that. Pop it on the desktop. And there you go. It's copied. It copied in there. So yes, that is the shortcut keys. You got two, or you can just right click on anything. Don't forget to use your right click. Or if you're not sure how to do something, right mouse button. You'll always get some really good options there. Can I, while I'm here, because I just forgot to discuss it a little bit, when you are in these tabs, I know these are too small for you. Can you see them where my cursor is there?
Yeah, we can, yeah.
Okay, under the view menu, this is a really handy way to organize things I forgot to tell you about. So what's currently selected is details, which gives me all the information about things, right? So that can be really handy. But if I just want to see, if you don't see very well and you want to see things better, I just made that extra large icons or small icons. So what I'm clicking up here in the view tab is really handy for how you see the information presented. So
you can increase or decrease the size according to yourself.
Yes, to what you see over here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, what you're preferable to,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what my favorite control key is. It's Control Z, because that's the
Undo.
command. So I'm always doing something that I didn't mean to do, and Control Z gets me out of a lot of trouble.
It
Yes,
does.
thank you.
Okay. Yeah. I wish we could use that in life. Go back. I
Yeah,
didn't
Control
mean
Z.
to get into
Yeah.
that relationship. Control Z.
Well, it was really nice having a chat with you, Kim and Helen. And from here onwards, we're gonna answer the doubts of our customers, if they have any. So please put your questions down in the comment section and let us know if you have any doubts. Thank you.
Okay, Vishu, are you going to ask any questions from our viewers, or can you see those?
Yes.
And see them, yes. I
Yeah.
can certainly see them.
Callum asked us a question where what is the best way to name or organize your folders?
We might all have different answers to this, which would be interesting in
I'll
itself.
actually like Kim to go first for this one.
Thank you. The simple answer to that is whatever's logical for you, Callum. And thanks for your question, by the way. Yeah, it's no use me telling you what to name something if it's not personally meaningful and you don't remember what you've named it. But maybe simple. You know, if it's a pictures folder and it's a pictures and then you've got a holiday in Spain, I'm projecting here because we can't go anywhere. Make a Spain folder underneath. This makes me think that it's very important when you save something, because if you just upload a video from your camera, it gives it a number, a date number that the camera automatically puts in. I would suggest when you first put a file there, name it. Name it something meaningful. It's going to be really handy in searching and finding. So that's my supposedly quick answer. What about you,
Yeah,
Helen?
I do similar to
sorry.
what Kim does as well. Like pictures in pictures, files in documents, like in documents, download videos in videos, and I name them instantly with what they're meant as well. Or if they're like a collection, I just put them in one folder and then just name them as one. But yeah, that's usually it. And Helen asks a question, can you write?
Can I just answer that first question with putting my 2 cents worth?
Yeah.
This is what I suggest you do. It's not what I always do, but if you have time and you get videos or images that have a completely incomprehensible name on them with the numbers that Kim was talking about, I think it's important to rename those, with something meaningful, or delete the ones that you don't want to keep, because you end up with huge numbers of pictures. The other little trick I use sometimes, if I want to have some subfolders, but there's a really important one that I want to be able to find easily and remember, I usually put a AA in front of it, so that if you sort all your folders on name, it'll come right up the top. So it just makes it easy to find. It looks a bit funny, but it, if you've got a whole lot of folders, but there's one there that you want to get at all the time, it's
like the yellow pages where they used to have AA pest control.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
So, show up first.
Yes, it's just a little trick. Yeah.
Well, that's really smart of what Helen does. And next question is from Helen herself. Can you right click on the touchpad if you don't have a mouse? Definitely you can. If you have a laptop, there's always the option to click on the right side, and then you'll have the options where it says sort by, refresh, or even copy paste if you're in your files. So yeah.
And it does depend, just quickly, sorry to interrupt, Vishu, it does depend sometimes on how the laptop is set up. The touchpads can be a little bit different. There might be a double click and different on a Mac, double click to open. And if you're ever having trouble with your right click, I think it's control left click, hold down the control key and click, and hold down the control key and click, and that'll turn it into a right mouse button. It can be, it can mostly, yes, you can just click on it, but they can be different.
Amazing.
The device I'm on at the moment doesn't have any buttons on the or visible buttons on the touchpad. So I assume that you can just select buttons by touching the right or left side of the touchpad. But you know, you find these things out by trial and error, and every machine's a little bit different, so it's often tricky.
Are you talking about a tablet there or a laptop? Just out of
I've
interest?
got a laptop, but there's no actual buttons as I'm used to. I use different machines, and this one's a nice looking machine that I'm just trying out today. So.
I've just made me think that if you're on a tablet or a phone, I think a long press will bring up that right click menu. Depends on your phone, but sometimes long pressing on an icon will bring up options.
Yeah, I think it's really good that you're prepared to just try things out on any device. That you know, they're all different, but if you know that you probably can do something, then there will be a way to do it. So if you just keep trying things that might work, eventually you find something. Or if you can't, you just go and ask somebody, or ask Mr. Google, and he often has solutions there as well. So.
Yeah, someone's always wondered before you. Someone else has always got your question. So there's going to be information out there for you if you Google it.
Yeah. And Karina says that she really liked the presentation. Thank you very much, Karina. We tried our best to be professionals. I don't know if we acted like one, but we do want to be professionals.
Thank you, Karina. That's lovely.
And I just, as talking about the other session, we got into a little bit of a discussion at the end about the pros and cons of Macs versus PCs. We've got just a little bit of time left. I don't know whether you two have got anything. I presume you're Windows people rather than Mac people. So what's your view of that discussion?
Well, I used to edit on a Mac, and I did like editing. When I used to do a lot more video editing. These days, I'd be pretty happy if all Apple devices were shot into the sun. No, that's a bit extreme, obviously. I think I heard Shibin say yesterday that it's a personal preference, and the more you use one system, the more you learn it. But yeah, for my own personal reasons, if I'm on a phone, I will choose an Android over an iPhone, and I will, choose a PC over a Mac. But that's me.
You got any views on that, Vishu?
Yeah, Karina has one more question for us, actually.
Oh, okay.
She asked, if she has a new laptop and she supposedly uses the F1 key a lot, but in her new laptop, she doesn't have the F key. So what do you do in that situation?
I remember learning this. Does she have a function key on her keyboard that's just an FN? But I'm actually going to Google this quickly, unless one of you know, because I have function keys. Karina, that's a really good question anyway. For people who do have the S keys along the top, maybe Google those. They're all going to say F11 is usually help, F5 will refresh a page. They do some really cool things. So Google those. I'm just going to do the no function keys on keyboard type thing, unless you two. Here's a good example of Googling on the fly.
I just realised that there are no function keys on this machine.
Well, what do you do for your function keys, or do you use them less? No function keys.
I used to years ago. I could have given up. I think the only one that there was a print screen was one, and a few things that you used, but
that FN key I was talking about still presumes that you have function keys. How can you use a keyboard without the function keys?
Well, Karina now says that she found the F keys in her laptop because they were really small in size.
Okay.
But that's fine. If not her, then maybe someone else has that doubt. So we should still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm having a quick look.
Well, this keyboard has some little keys up the top. So they haven't got function F1 on them, but they have all sorts of other symbols. So maybe.
Have you got an FN key? Have you got an FN key between? Well, try and see what happens.
Yes.
An FN, and there you go.
I don't remember what happens to each of these.
Try F2. I think or F1 is search. F5 will reload a page in a browser.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just try that.
I can see all the F keys on my laptop, so I haven't really faced that problem. Kim, you have to find the solution, please.
Well,
I'm getting Helen to experiment on the fly.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. So lots of different things, and you can also customize them. So you can turn off sound with an F8, holding down your function key. That's a mute usually. Do you want to, have you got, because you haven't got any numbers up there on your top row, Helen, when you hold down FN and press one of them.
I'd have to look at that in more detail. Yeah. We're getting sort of to the end of our broadcast, but one thing that I find a lot of people do that I can do very well is just ignore anything that I'm not using. So there's a whole lot of keys here that I really can't work out what they do, but I'm quite happy just to leave them until I find that I might need them, and then I learn how to use it. And I find that a lot of our clients want to know what everything does, and I said, well, I don't know, I don't use it, so I just ignore it. How do you two feel with that?
I'm a bit like a dog with a bone, and I just Google incessantly. I didn't do it then because there's so much pressure. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I will 3 hours later go, I found it. So I just Google a lot.
If I want it, I'll look for it. But if I don't need it,
oh no, even if I don't, I'm just like, I must know.
Well, do you want to wind us up, Vishu?
Just before he does, Karina says, sorry for being difficult, and not at all, Karina. It's really nice to have you here and asking questions. So not difficult at all.
Maybe other people's doubts were cleared because of your questions as well.
Yeah. Okay, so that gives us another topic for another streaming event at some stage. So that's good.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's always new things to do.
Yeah.
We might even prepare for it.
Oh no, this is supposed to be ad hoc. And,
So I don't think there is supposedly anyone else with any questions. So I think we can end the streaming here.
Good.
And it was really amazing to be here with you guys and have a chat. So yeah.
Okay, bye.